Gray Maynard got his feelings hurt this past weekend.
Yeah. It was the Ultimate Fighter 18 finale, obviously Team Rousey versus Team Tate, which has been an interesting season. I think it didn't turn out as well as a lot of people anticipated, at least in the ratings. I thought it was pretty interesting myself, but it concluded, at least the Fighters in the House concluded Saturday night, and it started out with actually who the hell did it start out with?
Look, you don't want me to comment on this because speaking of feelings being hurt, I would skip to the last two fights because I don't give two shits about anyone else on this card. The other thing I want to do is talk about Ronda Rousey's disrespectful, ridiculous act. I've never seen anyone act so childish.
You know, it's funny because it's becoming. The way she acts is like, it's bizarre to me. Like I don't know if she's just, is that her? Is it a show? She obviously hangs with the Diaz brothers, but she's very dismissive and she gets, you know, the way, Tate gets under her skin, man. Miesha, and them doing this, you know, both being in the house, Tate keeps her composure. You know, Miesha Tate keeps her composure. And I don't know, man, as much as Ronda Rousey probably will be the favorite going to this fight in late December in a few weeks, Miesha Tate, man, if she can disrupt her and get her out of her game, it could be a very interesting fight.
Well, here's what I want to ask for all you Ronda Rousey fans out there, and be honest, because you're looking at somebody who is a Dennis Rodman fan, and I could separate what Dennis Rodman could do on the court compared to his antics off the court,
right?
And I can do that. So, if that's truly the reason you're a Ronda Rousey fan because of her performance in the ring, that's cool. But if you actually respect and like the shit she does outside of the ring, can you explain to me why? Like, do you think that's keeping it real? Because if that's really how she is and that's really what she's about, dude, she's a douche. Like, she is a douchebag.
Well, you know, after her fight or loss, and we'll get to the fights. I mean, obviously Raquel Pennington beat Roxanne Modafferi, and then Jessamine Duke defeated Peggy Moran, and then Chris Holtworth defeated David Grant, and then the main. You know, the co-main event fights were Juliana Pena, who was Miesha Tate's girl, going up against Jessica Rakowski. And that was,
and you've been saying for weeks that this girl was going to win the whole damn thing.
I said that. I thought for sure Juliana Pena would win. I mean, she's good. I mean, and the people she beat to win this was impressive. I mean, first of all, she beat Shayna Baszler. I mean, this girl's a seasoned pro, and she beat her in the second round and submitted her. So that was impressive. She was a heavy underdog going into that. But anyway, obviously Miesha Tate's team came out on top with Miesha Tate getting that with Juliana Pena getting that victory. And then they interviewed both of the girls, you know, after it, and they were interviewing Miesha Tate, and she was saying, you know, complimentary towards both the fighters, saying she really thought Pena was a good fighter because she trained with her and blah, blah, blah. And then the guy turns to Ronda Rousey and he says, wanted to hear her reaction to what she thought of the fight. And she just, you know, she threw out a couple things, and then she's like, I feel bad for her, which I could understand her saying. And then she just said, but you know, I really want to be back there talking to her. I don't even want to talk to you guys. I really don't want to talk to you guys. Like, it was so like Diaz brothers. Like, and I'm thinking, are they rubbing off on you? You know, like,
they must be. But here's the thing. I mean, maybe her head is in the clouds. Maybe she didn't realize Paul Walker, God bless his soul, has passed away, and that her gravy train is probably way off without him. What other movie can she possibly be in? Like, like, for her to get into movies, you have to be likable. You have to have people want to have to come see you. And the persona you're putting on, like, if anyone doesn't know who you are and they go Google you and they bring up these videos, why will they want to see you? Why would they want to support you? You need people to come to the movie theaters and buy tickets to watch you now.
Yeah,
this isn't about beating people up anymore. You have to be likable. And if you can't be likable, you're going to be fucked in the movie industry.
Yeah, you do have to have a likable personality, because there's so much stuff going, you know, obviously with movies, there's so much marketing involved and appearances and everything like that, and you have to deal with it. And I know Dana White is sitting back going, okay, I mean, to me, if I was Dana White, I'm thinking, okay, is this the person I want to be the face of female MMA? You know what I'm saying? Representing it. I mean, if I look at that I'd rather have Miesha Tate. I mean, just because she seems like she's so much more personable, she gets along with people. That's just me. If I was running the organization.
Put it this way. UFC is a fledgling sport in the grand scheme of things. It hasn't been around that long. It hasn't been pushed in front of this many people ever.
Right.
So women's MMA is even younger and in a more like they're like in the incubator still. They haven't even cracked an egg yet when it compares to where the men are at. So my thing is, how could you? I understand. Look, I'm not taking anything away from her as a fighter. Extremely talented.
Right.
You know, she can't be beat. She's nasty. She's great at what she does. But as a human being, the side that she shows us, and like I've said, I've been ripped for ripping on the Diaz brothers, and they said they're really cool people. Maybe it's just all an act. Maybe she's the female Chael P. Sonnen. Maybe she's the worst of Nate and Nick Diaz all wrapped in the one. She's doing a great job if that's what she's doing. I just don't want this to hurt her future plans.
Right. It's the thing is George, it's to me, it's so short lived in the sport right now, because as much as it is is trying to become a mainstream sport, it's still not the mainstream sport like, you know, soccer throughout the world, American football,
or
American
even NASCAR.
Or even NASCAR.
It doesn't have the foothold in America that NASCAR does.
It doesn't. And I tell you what, it is unfortunate that, you know, about Paul Walker's passing this past weekend. But I tell you what, the reality is they're in the middle of filming, you know, Fast and Furious 7. They're like, okay, the studios are like, what are we going to do? You know, Ronda Rousey, this was going to be her ticket. And let me tell you something. If all of a sudden there's no more Fast and Furious series where she can't have another part in it, and all of a sudden
her career would be up in smoke.
Your career's up in smoke, and let's just say Miesha Tate beat you, then all of a sudden within a month you fell off the map, and people can sit here and say, oh, Kevin, what the fuck are you talking about? Let's look at Gina Carano. You know, Gina Carano was, where is she? What are you hearing about Gina Carano now? I mean, and Gina Carano to me is,
you know what? I wish we could jump in the Wayback Machine, because I'm pretty sure I used to do a sports show with two people. One was a guest, and one sat right next to me, almost yapping in my ear, as the other one sat adjacent of me, yapping about how much of a movie star she's going to be, and how big she's going to be in the industry, and how the industry's just going to eat her up, and she's going to be in so many movies. And I understand she's going to be in the next Expendables, but outside of those action roles, what is she going to do? She's only done, what, 2 movies? And who saw the fucking fighting movie that went straight to DVD?
To me, honestly, I think far more people find Gina Carano more sexier than Ronda Rousey. I just do. I think she's a lot more marketable. She's a likable girl. People like her. They gravitate to her. She's nice. And I think that's going to take, like you said, it's going to take you a lot farther in Hollywood. And you know, women's MMA, I mean, in the UFC, it's still young. You know, a lot of people don't even know about that. I mean, honestly, everybody watching this show, if I said name 10 female, you know, bantamweight fighters in the UFC, most people fighting, you know, watching the show would have a problem doing that, you know?
Right. I wonder if she can wrap her head around what's going on in that movie set with the loss of Paul Walker.
Excuse me?
Too soon?